Hmm. Okay, so I did not give my Leviticus report. God willing, this comes out well. So I'm not feeling well right now. I'm not telling y'all because of sympathy or anything. I'm just saying it because it's the truth. And this is why I decided to do the Leviticus report from my What Did God Say Only study. And I guess I might also do my numbers report as well and then get out of here. But bear with me. So here we go. So the Leviticus, I have a lot of notes from Leviticus. And as I was reading during my What Did God Say Only study, anything that I thought I should note that stood out, I would write down. And it's something right here in Leviticus 19, 9 through 10. And it's about how it was a plan for the poor. God had a plan for the poor. And even though it was done with only Israel, and possibly the strangers that was living with them, the aliens, that resided among them, that still counts. And Israel was supposed to be the example to the world. And if they was to have been the example and would have been righteous, other nations could have mimicked what they was doing. So this plan for the poor could have just spread throughout the world. And then you have a cross reference to it in Leviticus 23, 22. And it could be more, but since I'm only doing Leviticus right now, that's all that I noticed in Leviticus. Oh, man. I had a number of discoveries. Basically, what these are, they're textual variants or manuscript variants where, let's say you're reading Leviticus 5:6, and it might be a word or a few words in the Masoretic text, which will be translated into English, that is missing or omitted in other sources of the Bible, like the Septuagint, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Latin Vulgate, and the Samaritan Pentateuch. So I would write down these discoveries, and I found maybe a few. In Leviticus, I found 3, looks like, that I can easily see. I found one in Leviticus 5:6, one in Leviticus 4:14, and another in Leviticus 12:6. And basically, they're just bonuses for me. Stuff that I will find, and it'll just be, as I read, I would just find it. So, and a lot of these, they don't have any videos on or any in-depth information, like in these textual variant notes, footnotes, or anything. So nobody's really talking about these, but they're there. I won't go too deep into it, but just to note that maybe I should give one example. Okay, so example in Leviticus 12:6, the key phrase or 2 words that's, I'll just say the words are without blemish. So let's see, the Masoretic text doesn't have the words without blemish. The Samaritan Pentateuch doesn't have it either. Neither does the Latin Vulgate or the Dead Sea Scrolls. A lot of times the Dead Sea Scrolls was just missing fragments. So You can't even check it in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but only the LXX or the Septuagint had those words in that verse. All the other sources that I gave you did not have it. You can check it. But let me see. So what else happened in Leviticus? Oh, this is from my sin offering study. This is not even from the What Did God Say Only study, but in Leviticus 4, 1 through 12 and 13 through 21. Let's see. So Leviticus 4, 1 through 12 shows the unintentional sins for the priest and what he must do if he does sin and all that. And for 13 through 21, it shows the unintentional sin offering for the assembly. I didn't even get far in that study, look like, or did I? I don't look like it. Well, for my unclean and blood study, I got some notes in Leviticus as well. I got Leviticus 15:13, where I don't know what the whole verse say, but my little summary that I wrote was, it takes 7 days for the cleansing. It could have been about leprosy maybe, or when they were unclean. Whatever the context was, I'm not sure. I don't have the verse in front of me, but it takes 7 days for the cleansing. And that is kind of common for other things too. Let me see. In Leviticus 15:30 through 31, my notes on that was, you can die in your uncleanness by defiling God's tabernacle. Yeah. So they was probably talking about uncleanness earlier in that chapter too. So what we got here? Oh, this is something totally different. I don't think Leviticus is in that. Nope. Oh, there's my other unclean and blood study. I got Leviticus 18:19. My summary for that was, so this was something I learned. It says, don't uncover a woman's nakedness on her period in her uncleanness. I didn't know that. That's a lot. I got a lot of Leviticus 7 notes. Leviticus notes. Whether it's from my What Did God Say Only study or other studies, I'm skipping some of it. I might need to come back to that one though. What did God say only? Leviticus. Let's see. At the top of the paper, is this my very first one? I think it is. I don't have much, I tell you that. Okay, well, I noticed, it's my note. I noticed from all the offerings to God, whenever it was a animal, like a beast of the field, people who brought the animal had laid their hands or hand on their head. Something I was noticing. In Leviticus 3:16 through 17, I noted that all the fat is God's. It's an eternal law. No matter where you are, don't eat any fat or blood. Now, I don't know if that fat part is just only included in the sacrifices, that they can't eat the fat, or if they can't eat the fat entirely, no matter if it's in the sacrifice or not. But definitely, I know that in the sacrifice, you can't, when you sacrifice it, all the fat's God's. and you can't eat blood, period. Well, you're not supposed to, but it seems like that may have been, it's crazy, the New Testament. Based on what Jesus said, that might be, well, it's 3 ways to eat, so I can see it. It's possible based on what Jesus and Paul said, but Leviticus 4, 1 through 4, my notes on that was when any sins, oh, I already covered that, unintentionally. I just have more notes on it. I guess I'll get it. When any sins unintentionally, if it's the priest bringing guilt on the people, he shall offer for the sin a bull without blemish as the sin offering, as a sin offering, my bad. He shall bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting before God and lay his hand on the head of the bull. Leviticus 16, 20 through 22. Aaron shall present Azazel, which is the scapegoat, and put his hands on the head of the goat and confess all the sins of Israel, putting them on the head of the goat. And the goat shall bear their iniquities. Interestingly, nobody talks about that. They talk about the scapegoat, and they might mention a little bit more, but they don't, at least I don't hear it in a way that the scapegoat bears their iniquities. And I was thinking about it, like if a goat can bear people's iniquities, why can't another human? Because people reject the idea of Jesus, bearing the sins of others, but an animal can. I guess they forgot about that one too. So then you got Leviticus 17, 10 through 14. My summary for that was, for his life it is the blood that makes atonement. I might need to look that one up. But the way it worded it was just, that stood out to me. I think that was when God was talking about don't eat blood because, life is in the blood. But the way it worded it, it just stood out for me. So in a way, it's like you eating life when you eat the blood. But is that it? What did God say? Only a number? Oh, numbers comes in after that. Okay. Okay, so I guess I'll go into the 7th study. Because I got something here too. Oh man, I did not write much down. Leviticus 4, 3 through 12. I already went over that. But I didn't get this part specifically though. So the notes on that is, anointed priest, sin offering, he shall dip his finger. This was for my 7th study. What's the significance of the number 7? And it says, my notes are, the anointed priest, sin offering, he shall dip his finger in the blood of the bull and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times in front of the Lord before the curtain of the sanctuary. Cross-reference Leviticus 13:21. Assemblies, sin offering, the priest shall sprinkle the blood 7 times again as before. Leviticus 8:10 through 13. My summary is, Moses took the anointing oil and sprinkled it 7 times on the altar to consecrate it. Leviticus 8:31 to 36. The ordaining, my bad. The ordaining of the priest takes 7 days. Leviticus 12:2 through 5. Oh, I love that one. Blood purification. If a woman has a male child, she shall be unclean 7 days. 33 days for the blood purification, showing that the blood purifies. Then it goes on to say, and if a female child, she becomes unclean 2 weeks. And I can't even read what I wrote right there. It's, wow, I need to fix that. And it's 66 days of purification for that one. Key study. That was easy. That might be it. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. I thought it was. Okay. Oh, I see leprosy. Leviticus 13:4. This still is in the 7th study. Confine the diseased person for 7 days. These are all just my summaries of the context of the verse. Leviticus 13:5. The priest shall confine him another 7 days if he checks and sees the disease is not spread in the skin. Leviticus 13:21 and 26. If the priest examines it and the hair on it is not white, nor is deeper than the skin, but has abated, confine him 7 days. And if the hair in the spot is not white and isn't deeper than the skin, but has abated, confine him 7 days. Then it says in Leviticus 13:31, for the itching disease, confine him 7 days. Cross-reference Leviticus 13:33, for the itch disease, confine him 7 days more. It must have been some extra context with that. But then it says Leviticus 13:50, put the diseased article aside 7 days. Cross-reference verses 53 through 54. Put aside 7 days more. Lepers. Okay. The blood. Oh, this is Leviticus 14:5 through 7. The blood of the clean bird shall be sprinkled 7 times on the cleansed person. I think that's it right there. Ooh, some good stuff. Okay, yeah, we're done. So that's my Leviticus report. Maybe I should do my numbers report too. I did finish numbers. Nah, I don't want to do it in the same video, but I'll come back and I'll do that soon. My numbers report. Well, I'm gonna take my butt in my room, I guess. I am feeling a bit better, but not completely. I was planning to read live, but I started feeling worse and worse. So I'm gonna just probably read offline. All right, y'all. Peace be to the saints. That was my Leviticus report. God willing, I'll be back soon to read, give another report from Numbers. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I need to get a Hebrew book.